Is it harder to find people today than it was, let's say, 20 years ago?
What we find is there's a lot of tendency, despite the CRMs and the new technology the companies use and the cloud-based systems, they're still trying to do business the old-fashioned way when technicians were plentiful, but they're not plentiful because, as you said earlier, people tend to be retiring. There's not as many people entering the field. There's a real recruitment process going on to get them into the field. So what we're seeing is a trend that needs to happen away from the HR administrator processing resumes, having key performance indicators that state, we were successful today. We looked at 150 new resumes. We reached out to 100 new people.
And in fact, at the show we were at, we met you, Jamie. We met you at TMC. We talked to more than one company, in fact, several companies. And the managers we were speaking with, who were there representing their firms, were like, the HR people say they're getting people, but we're seeing no one coming into the interview process. They're not there.
How many people were they processing? Like
over 120 is what the numbers they're doing.
Okay.
I want to reinforce that meeting that we had. He said that the HR people were reaching out, and they were calling, and they were trying to connect with them. But these diesel technicians were not responding. They were not getting back to them. But these are people who are on the internet posted with as being available on Indeed or whatever, but they've already been solicited by a gazillion companies. Go ahead, David.
So basically, several things are happening is the HR people are being measured on the wrong things. It should be based on qualified candidates. It should be based on their skill sets about recruiting. Because if you don't have some salesman in your soul, you will fail in this new world. You will fail, you will fail, you will fail. You have to be able to represent a message for your company. And the word we use is being a hiring, ambassador / hiring advocate. And you need to know what equipment you have in your shop, because some guys want to work on certain kinds of equipment, not other kinds of equipment. I'm looking at this as a technology guy in software, not a mechanic guy. So I don't want to tell you what to have, but people do care. Another example, we talked to another gentleman at another show, and we asked him about why would you change shops? Well, he said, I just want to be somewhere where I'm happy. So his big bar was not even equipment or money. He just didn't want to be miserable all day long, which is also interesting. Back to the millennial conversation you asked earlier.
Yeah, it's more of a qualitative measurement as opposed to a quantitative, like, I want to make $5 more an hour. I want to be happy. Define happy, right? And how do you attract people to your company and say to them, in essence, if you work for us, you're going to have a better work experience and you're going to be happier, right? So to me, what I'm hearing you say is it makes me think of the old days when, 20 years ago, everything was done on reputation. And I only applied for my first job, right? I was 18. I applied for my first job. I got into the industry. Every job I've ever had since then has been through reputation and word of mouth. And people, know you, but I had to be in that sphere, that person's sphere of influence. I had to be there. They had to know who I was for them to offer me a job. And now we're in this world where, if I'm hearing this right, there's this great opportunity for companies to create a reputation, which is a brand, and to get it out to the right people and to spread that much farther than the actual people we know in person, and to start attracting those people to our company for specific reasons.